We all got together for the first time in 2014. At the time, so Ceci and I were friends. Judy and Christine were friends. Ceci and I had run into an article by Michelle Telles on lectures, evaluations, and diapers, navigating the terrains of Chicana single motherhood in academia. At the time, I was pregnant. Ceci was already a single mom, and I had never read anything about what it means to be a Chicana mama in academia. And so that article really resonated with me. And Ceci and I were interested in coming up with some sort of panel because we were both grad students at the time to present on the topic of being a mother of color in academia. And so we decided to just take the risk of emailing Michelle Telles, who at the time intimidated us. I think she still intimidates us in some ways. And ask her if she wanted to serve as a moderator for our panel. And she said yes. After that, we decided we wanted to identify some other people to join us. By some miracle, I ran into Christine Vega on the UCLA campus. We were both, I don't know how many months pregnant, visibly pregnant at the time. And she came up to me because she thought my earrings were cute. And we were at the science side of campus, and neither one of us is a STEM student. And she's like, la, 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 I'm pregnant. And then I'm sitting down, I stand up and I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant too. Two Chicanas from the same part of the the San Fernando Valley in Southern California, randomly running into each other on campus. So of course I invited her to join the panel. She invited Judy, and I don't know how that happened. So how did that happen? Did she just reach out to you?
Yeah, I met Christine I was a graduate student and I didn't have kids at that time. She blames it out. We went out one time and we were drinking at my house and she said that's the night I got pregnant. So, and then after that, we kind of like, we didn't talk anymore. Because by that time I already had kids. She didn't have kids. So she graduated with her master's. She moved on to UCLA. I was still at Utah. But once I got pregnant, things got hard for me. And so I moved back home to LA so that my mom could help me out with the baby. And at that time, so by the time I moved back to LA, I still didn't talk to her, but I got pregnant with my second kid, a boy. And a few months after he was born, I found out Christine was pregnant. And so I reached out to her and I found out she had a boy. I was like, hey, I have a lot of, baby clothes. Like, ya no le queda my baby if you want me to go drop it off to you. And so I kept harassing her on email, like, but I was like, also, you're a mom now. I'm a mom. It's like, I don't have anyone to study with. Yeah. And I was, I was borderline of dropping the program because it was hard for me. I didn't have anyone to study. And so I knew that she was living on campus at UCLA. So it would have been a drive for me, but I was willing to do it just because I couldn't focus. And so I would reach out like, we could study together and this and that, but it was really hard. And then she, out of nowhere, she emailed me. She's like, hey, would you like to join this group? And I was like, yeah, I'll join anything. I was desperate to just join somebody that had kids and was going through the graduate program. So that's how we got back together.
And actually, we didn't meet for the first time as a group until our presentation. And we had applied with a project proposal title of like Mothers of Color in Academia to kind of expose the realities of being a mother of color in academia and all the different things that you deal with when it comes to childcare, when it comes to lack of lactation spaces, when it comes to all the gendered labor that's involved. And it wasn't until we met each other and met our babies that we realized that we all self-identified as Chicanas. And Michelle had already done the work of introducing this concept of Chicana Motherwork, which borrows the term Motherwork from Patricia Hill Collins. And she tried to kind of intertwine our identities as Chicanas, our identities as individuals who share experiences of having immigrant parents, of intergenerational violence and trauma, of being first gen, being low income, being underrepresented in academia. And we realized like this is more than just about mothers of color. This has a lot to do with our specific identities. And we're onto something because at the time, I don't recall seeing panels talk about motherhood. In fact, everybody would tell me to shush. I'm sure. I mean, we talk about that in our article that was published by Chicana Latina Studies, that that we're discouraged to have kids. Our bodies were, disciplined. We were taught to hide our identities as mothers. And we really wanted to just kind of make that visible and to empower mothers of color in academia. And so since then, we've been working on a platform that includes a podcast, it includes a blog, it includes our publications, it includes presenting at conferences, and it includes our forthcoming anthology that we are working on now. We have a full manuscript, and we're at the stage where we need to turn in the final draft, and we're hoping to get this scholarship to support the cost of getting the book indexed and of doing the final editing for the final piece. And we hope as an outcome that we can share a blog post about our anthology and our project, a podcast recording, do more Facebook Lives like this for those of you that are interested, connect with other folks that are interested in the topic, and provide more resources to others who are also mothers in academia. Yeah, so I mean, that's something I wanted to share, and I feel really grateful that we were selected as finalists, because one thing I do want to emphasize is that we are decentralized. We're all from different universities. We have different titles at universities, and because we're decentralized, we don't receive institutional funding, and a lot of what we've done thus far has been supported by our community. I mean, Judy, you can talk about the hustle of fundraising because you've helped us out a lot with that. Did you want to say?
Yes. I mean, we try to do fundraising. We've done shirts, we've done mugs, we've done stickers, we've done it all just to fundraise, especially because for me, specifically after getting my PhD, it's been hard to, find jobs and to have, even attend conferences for us. It's just been doing the fundraising that has made it happen for us. So I'm actually really happy that we got this, even to be nominated for the scholarship is really amazing. It reminds us that our work is valued and it's needed, and, that we see each other. And even with us reading the anthologies, reviewing them, there's not one time that I don't cry. Every time is just a reminder that we're not alone, and yet they make us feel as if we're alone. Had it not been for this group, I wouldn't have known that I wasn't, on my own with this. And so it's really important and special to know that there's a lot of people supporting us and that are going just, through the same thing that we're going through.
I think it might also be useful to tell them a little bit more about the contents of the anthology. I know we don't have it memorized, but we do organize our anthology into 4 parts, and we asked our contributors to provide either research papers, testimonios, or hybrid pieces that incorporate both the research and the data, as well as their own testimonials and their lived experiences. And so there are some really, really powerful pieces that talk about, the issues of those that are having trouble conceiving, those that have had infant loss, those that have adopted, those that have waited to have kids, that had kids in grad school. I can't even.
Intergenerational.
You wanna talk about some of these themes?
Yeah, intergenerational state violence that they've been experienced as mothers. There's so many different ones. I'm trying to get our list too that we have.
We even have, a testimonial for someone who tried to have a child and does not have a child, and it's not by choice, and what that's like navigating academia, having waited to try to have a child. We try to emphasize the notion of reproductive justice and of having the choice, having the agency to be a mom, when that's not necessarily the case for everybody. And we try to just shed light on the experiences, that kind of like the overlap between personal experiences and academia, because there are people, the contributors are at different stages of academia. We've got folks who are graduate students, folks who are on the tenure track, like early assistant professors. We've got more senior professors. So we try to introduce a little bit of everything. There are some gaps, and that's something that we should also mention and acknowledge. And there's actually, there's a lot of interest in a second volume, and we hope to address those gaps and fill those gaps in the second volume. And some of those gaps just happen to be because we didn't receive any contributions. So the biggest gap that I can identify is the lack of LGBTQI representation when it comes to motherhood and parenting. And then the other gap has to do with filling the gap of those that are outside of academia, or maybe on the outskirts of academia. I'm thinking specifically about like staff members on campus or undergraduate students. So those are some of the voices that we hope to shed light on for our second volume, because we are hopeful that there will be a second volume, especially given the very positive reviews that we received from the University of Arizona Press and also from the Feminist Wire, because this book is going to be part of a series for them.
Yeah, and also those that don't identify as self-identify as Chicana Latinx.
That too.
Also.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
because we've got folks who identify as Central American, African American, but it's still a very small fraction of the contribution. So we want to increase those voices, especially for a second volume.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm trying to see if there are any comments. Doesn't look like we've got a lot of folks on right now, because sometimes folks have questions, but I don't see any. Anything else that we should share about our anthology, about our project, about why they should vote for us?
Because we're awesome.
And fund us.
Because we need their support.
I mean, we believe in accessibility. I mean, I think that we get read, and at least in terms of like when people listen to our podcast, we get read as a kind of very academic group. And to folks who aren't in academia, it's kind of like, oh, why should I care? But we do make it a point to try to make our work as accessible as possible. And that is why we have the blog. That is why we have the podcast. That's why we don't just publish in academic journals where you have to have a subscription and pay for it to access it. Like we really want our voice to be heard within and outside academia.
Yeah, and we use the podcast to invite a lot of community members that a lot of them have no connection with institutions. And so that's been our sort of our way to network with folks outside of institutions. Yeah.
And we do all of this. It's just 5 of us, and we have, full-time schedules, whether we're grad students or full-time employees. We've got our kids that, we worry about. There's that domestic labor we got to take care of at home. We're hustling because a lot of times a lot of us are paycheck to paycheck. So we've got side hustles that we do just to make ends meet. So we do all of this as a kind of service. We're not getting paid. We don't have, como se dice, advertisers on our website. We don't have advertisers for our blog. So we're not getting any income from it. We're doing this as a service to our community. So we would really appreciate your support.
Yes. So that's all I think.
Yeah, I think that's good.
How long does it tell you the time? No.
No, I don't.
If you have any questions, you could add them in the comments.
Yeah,
later
so
when
actually,
you watch the video.
Add the questions in the comment section. I'll do my best to try to follow them throughout the weekend and respond to your questions. You're also welcome to email us at chicanamotherwork@gmail.com. You're welcome to message us on our Facebook page.
Add us as a friend. Add us on Instagram.
Yeah, we have a profile. Facebook, we have a Facebook group. We've got a Twitter. We have an Instagram account. ¿Qué más? What else do we have? We have a website where you can message us directly from the website. So there are many methods to contact us, communicate with us, ask us questions. We're here. We're here to listen and to take your feedback.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
With that being
Thank you.
said, should we hang up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.